Hey Hunters, Lord here, back with another Iceborne video. Whether you're a seasoned fiver with hundreds or even thousands of hours in this game, or if you're brand new to the series and you just picked it up on sale over the holidays, there's lots of tips and tricks that you might not know about World and Iceborne. I myself have over 3,000 hours in this game, and it still feels like I'm learning something new all the time. With that being said, today I want to cover 13 tips and tricks that you might not know in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. Up first is a trick to help cut down on how long it takes you to carve. With certain hunts, especially hunts like Master Rank Kulve Taroth, you can have a lot of materials to carve in that short 60-second window after completing a quest. She has 5 body carves and 4 horn carves. That's a lot of carves in a short amount of time. But did you know that if you hold down your carve button, it will automatically carve and skip some of the carving recovery animation? This allows you to carve much quicker, so you can get that tail or horn carve as well, or pick up more dropped materials before the timer runs out. This trick also works with gathering points, so whether you're picking up mushrooms or mining, you can just hold down your button and it will do it much quicker. Tip number 2 is that if you're inflicted with bleeding status, instead of using a Stera-Jerky or Sushi Fish scales, let's say you've run out or you didn't bring any, you can just crouch for a few seconds to get rid of the bleed. You can also crouch, then use a whetstone or wetfish fin, and that sharpening time will count towards the crouch time needed to alleviate the bleed. While this may not come up a bunch, it's nice to have this bit of information in the back of your head in case you need it. Tip number 4 is if you hold your sprint button when speaking with the quest maiden or the handler, the book opening animation gets sped up. Now this may not seem like a big deal, but since Monster Hunter obviously revolves around doing quests, saving a second or two on every single quest that you load into really adds up over your many hours of playtime. Tip number 5, did you know that you can roll into a slope to start sliding much quicker? You can use this to skip the kind of stumbling animation that you do before you go into the slide, and it's especially helpful for things like Master Rank Kulve, where you may slide down that initial slide 2 or 3 times in a hunt. Or if you're like chasing after a monster and you want to get one last hit in before they go off somewhere, you can use this to try and catch up to them a little bit quicker. Did you know that by sticking flying monsters in the head with Bright Moss, you can get a knockdown? This is useful if you don't have flash pods or any of the red slinger ammos that you pick up for monsters and you're trying to get a flying wyvern back to the ground so you can smack it up. Tip number 7 is one that I was surprised to find out that a lot of people didn't know, but if a large monster hasn't spotted you yet, you can shoot slinger ammo into the ground to make it do a short sort of investigation animation, where it'll look around and it'll head over to the area where you shot the slinger ammo. You can use this to drag a monster closer to walls and get a wall slam, or my personal favorite is to use it in the arena to get them under the boulder drop for opening damage and a knockdown. Tip number 8, did you know that you can get certain monsters suck in certain walls with their charge attacks? For example, Diablos' charge attack can get his horn stuck in some walls, and Tigrix's charging attack can get him to bite those same walls, getting both of them stuck for a short duration, which gives you a window to deal damage, sharpen, or heal. Tip number 9 is if you get pinned, you can actually still use your slinger. You're stuck with whatever slinger ammo you had loaded before the pin, but if you have red slinger ammo, you can get a flinch, or if you have flash pods, you can use that to get the monster away from you, which will allow you to get up without them doing the final finisher to you while you're pinned to the ground. Tip number 10 has to do with climbable walls and a few of their features that you may not have known. When climbing up vines or certain climbable walls, you can use different items. You can drink potions if you'd like, and you can also climb up these walls when you're doing egg delivery quests. As a veteran of the older series, I was not used to being able to do this, and having to find ways to run back to camp without climbing or falling too far. So actually the first couple of egg missions I did in World, I did this insane loop around to try and get back to it when I could have just easily climbed up into a camp. Another tip that some of you may not know is that you can use the mini-map in the bottom left to tell if a monster is able to be wall slammed. If the icon is red, the monster is enraged and cannot be wall slammed, but if it's yellow, you can perform a wall slam. For tip number 12, this is a general one that I think everyone should do, is I think you should really try to learn all of your favorite weapons' moves. Head to the training area and use the combo guides to learn it. One thing I was surprised to find out is that many people don't know about using slinger bursts on certain weapons to skip parts of a combo. Like for example, you can attack with Greatsword, then do a slinger burst and go straight into your true charge slash, which is of course your biggest damage attack. Another thing people didn't know is that if you have slinger ammo, especially red monster dropped slinger ammo, you can use that to charge up and buff your Kinsect with Insect Glaive, and the type of buff depending on the slinger ammo that you used. Nothing sucks more than realizing you've been missing out on a huge chunk of your weapon's moveset or finding a cool move you didn't know existed, so be sure to utilize the training area to really get to know your weapon. And the last tip, did you know that you can disable the fishing rod net and barbecue spit from showing up on your item bar? If you head to your inventory and scroll down, you can remove them from the item bar, meaning 3 less items you have to scroll past when you're frantically in a quest trying to find traps or heals. Now there are tons more that I could go over here, but for the sake of brevity, I wanted to just go over a few that I thought were kind of fun or useful. If you have any tips that I didn't include in my video, be sure to comment them down below. I would love to scroll through and read those, and it'll give another source of information for anybody new to the game. If you did enjoy or found a new tip, be sure to leave a thumbs up, as it's a totally free way to support the channel. If you're new here, new to Monster Hunter, or if you like what you see, do consider subscribing to the channel for more Monster Hunter content just like this. With all that being said, I wish you all a good day, a happy new year, and happy hunting.